Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we are diving into Simply Complexity by Neil F. Johnson. This accessible and enlightening book offers an introduction to complexity theory, a relatively new field of science that seeks to explain how parts of a system give rise to collective behaviors and how the system interacts with its environment. Johnson, an expert in the field, illustrates how complex systems can be found in everyday life, from the stock market to ecological systems, and even in phenomena like traffic jams and warfare. Neil F. Johnson, former Oxford University professor and current head of the Complexity Research Group at the University of Miami, applies his extensive research on real-world complex systems to make the subject comprehensible for everyone. He is also known for his other works like Two's Company, Three is Complexity, and Financial Market Complexity. Simply Complexity is designed for anyone curious about the intricacies of science and real-world applications of theory. Whether you're interested in understanding the underlying patterns of financial crashes, the dynamics of social interactions, or strategic aspects of modern warfare, this book deconstructs sophisticated concepts into understandable segments. This makes it an ideal read not just for scholars and students, but for anyone intrigued by the complexity of today's world. Stay tuned as we explore how Johnson's insights can help us better understand the world around us and navigate its complexities with more informed perspectives. Simply Complexity. A Clear Guide to Complexity Theory. Introduction. Exploring the interconnectedness of our universe through the lens of complexity science. Classical science traditionally breaks down phenomena to scrutinize their components, aiming to explain the specifics of each element in isolation. Complexity science, on the other hand, embraces a holistic approach. It looks for overarching patterns and relationships across different systems, regardless of the field of study. This field of science is dedicated to understanding how various parts of a system interconnect and influence one another, forming a coherent whole. In this exploration of complexity science, you'll discover how this discipline seamlessly brings together seemingly disparate areas of study. By examining universal connections, complexity science reveals insights that lie concealed within the interactions of diverse systems. Furthermore, learn about the surprising irrelevance of individual complexity within a group setting. It turns out that the intricacies and nuances of an individual often do not impact the broader dynamics of a group. This insight sheds light on behavioral patterns at a collective level, rather than focusing solely on personal attributes. You'll also delve into the critical role of studying networks, not just social or digital ones, but any kind of network. From biological ecosystems to urban infrastructures, understanding the interconnectedness can indeed be a matter of life and death. Discover how this knowledge helps us enhance system resilience and efficiency, and even save lives in scenarios such as disease control or emergency responses. Lastly, there's an intriguing perspective on the quest for finding the perfect partner. Complexity science suggests that perhaps this search is not as daunting as it seems. It introduces a refreshing view on relationships and compatibility, influenced by broader social and environmental networks. Together, these insights from complexity science offer a new framework for understanding the world around us, a world more interconnected and intertwined than we might have ever imagined. Part 1. Unveiling the intricate dance of collective interaction within complexity science. When considering phenomena like traffic jams and stock markets, it's clear they embody complexity. Yet, defining what complexity actually means can be confounding, not just for us, but for the scientific community as well. Although a precise definition eludes even the experts, one concept has gained traction: complexity. Science is regarded as the study of systems emerging from the interactions of many individual elements, such as crowds arising from the interactions among people. This perspective brings us closer to understanding the ubiquitous nature of complexity in our daily lives. Consider how both objects and individuals consistently vie for scarce resources, be it food, living space, or economic wealth. This competition manifests vividly in various scenarios. Financial traders scramble for limited buyers, drivers jostle for space during rush hour, and even cellular battles, such as those between cancer cells and normal cells, are fundamentally contests for survival and growth. Such conflicts and competitions, while often leading to dysfunction like market crashes or gridlocks, underscore the types of complex problems that complexity science aims to decode and manage. By leveraging interdisciplinary approaches from biology, sociology, and ecology, complexity science doesn't just address specific challenges, but reveals the underlying patterns connecting disparate issues across different fields. Hence, whether it's understanding the volatile dynamics of financial markets or designing strategies to alleviate traffic congestion, recognizing these patterns can vastly enhance our approach to solving these interlinked problems. Complexity science, although still burgeoning in its development, holds promising potential for widespread application across diverse areas, potentially revolutionizing our approach to navigating and managing the chaotic elements of our world. Part 2. How spontaneous behavior shifts emerge in complex systems through feedback loops. One of the most fascinating aspects of complex systems is their ability to adapt and evolve without any central oversight. These systems, which include everything from traffic flows to financial markets, often seem to behave mysteriously, changing spontaneously and unpredictably. Take traffic jams, for example. They appear and dissipate without any apparent external intervention. No traffic light changes, no roadblocks being set up or removed. Similarly, financial markets experience crashes that seemingly come out of nowhere, with analysts struggling to pinpoint a single catalyst. These phenomena arise from what is known as self-organization within complex systems. The key to understanding these spontaneous changes lies in the concept of feedback. Feedback mechanisms within a complex system involve past incidents influencing current decisions and actions. This connection can occur internally, within a single entity, or externally, affecting other parts of the system. Consider your daily commute. If you've experienced heavy traffic on a particular route for several consecutive days, you're likely to seek an alternative route. Your past experiences directly influence your current choices, introducing a change in the system without any direct external command. Feedback loops are essential for the dynamic nature of complex systems, fostering both order and chaos. They make complex systems extraordinarily resilient and adaptable, yet also unpredictably volatile. Every individual or entity within the system constantly receives and reacts to feedback, leading to the continuous evolution of the system. These interactions within complex systems lend them a distinctive, almost lifelike quality. Understanding and analyzing these feedback loops offer insightful revelations about how complex systems behave and evolve, providing a deeper comprehension of the seemingly chaotic patterns that govern not just traffic and markets, but all complex systems. Part 3. Distinguishing the subtleties between complexity and chaos. It's not uncommon to hear complexity and chaos used interchangeably in everyday conversation. However, these terms represent distinctly different concepts. Chaos is actually a potential outcome of complexity. It represents a specific type of behavior that may emerge from a complex system. Consider how, in the world of finance, the output of a complex system could be something like a stock price. This output might fluctuate wildly, appearing completely random to the casual observer. This is where chaos manifests, in outcomes that seem unpredictable and erratic. However, the presence of chaotic behavior doesn't necessarily mean a system is inherently chaotic by nature. Complex systems are capable of producing a range of behaviors from chaotic and unpredictable to periodic and even steady states. As such, Complexity in a system does not automatically result in chaotic outcomes. To further delineate the difference, consider chaos in terms of complexity, but on a structured yet unpredictable scale. For example, imagine an office where employees are tasked to organize files using a specific, complex mathematical rule. As the system scales up, more files, more shelves, the underlying pattern becomes increasingly obscure. To those unaware of the mathematical rule, the organization of the office appears chaotic. Yet, the chaos here results from systematic, though complicated, rules rather than from genuine randomness. In contrast, what defines a complex system is not just the repeated application of a rule, but the dynamic interactions and the feedback mechanisms within it. These interactions can cause the system to exhibit different behaviors, including but not constrained to chaos. Therefore, while chaos might emerge from complexity, it is simply one possible expression of a complex system. Complex systems encompass a broader spectrum of behaviors facilitated by the intricate interactions within them, proving that chaos and complexity, while related, are not synonymous. Part 4. Unraveling the paradox of individual complexity versus group simplicity. A crowd is undeniably a complex system, birthed from the mingling of numerous individuals, each with their distinct preferences, thoughts, and behaviors. Yet, intriguingly, the complexity inherent to each person often becomes obscured in the dynamics of larger groups. In group settings, individual differences tend to diminish, leading to surprisingly uniform behaviors across diverse collections of people. It's an interesting phenomenon where, regardless of individual complexity, groups behave in predictably similar ways. For instance, consider analyzing the multifaceted life of an influential figure like Winston Churchill. While his personal narrative is rich with uniqueness, placing him within a conglomeration of equally notable personalities would likely result in a group behavior not much different from any random assemblage of people. This counterintuitive behavior is observable in television, specifically in reality shows like Big Brother and Celebrity Big Brother. Despite the unique characteristics one might expect celebrities to demonstrate, group dynamics unfold in ways that are remarkably typical and indicative of everyday human interactions. This consistency extends beyond television and into real-life scenarios. Be it in a bustling marketplace, amidst the chaos of a traffic jam, or even during confrontational situations like wars, the actions and reactions of groups generally mirror each other, despite differences in geography, language, or culture. Moreover, the notion of opposing personalities canceling each other out is particularly evident in scenarios involving decision-making and resource utilization. Imagine deciding whether to visit a popular bar on a Friday night, pondering over the possibility of securing a seat. This individual choice reflects a broader pattern where some will anticipate success based on past experiences, while others expect failure. Such divergent attitudes within the group typically balance out, leading to a collective behavior that might seem predetermined. This principle also plays out vividly in financial markets, where the actions of buyers are often offset by those of sellers, leading to an equilibrium of sorts. Regardless of the market or its location, traders tend to exhibit group behaviors that remarkably mimic one another across different trading environments. Understanding this dynamic, how individual complexities subtly dissolve into group simplicities, opens a new perspective on human behavior in communal settings, illustrating that in the grand tapestry of interactions, personal distinctions often blend into a broader, cohesive pattern. Part 5. The life-saving implications of studying complex network behaviors. In a world inherently social, our interactions naturally form intricate networks from the digital webs we navigate online to the tangible ties in social and professional settings. We exist within and move through these networks every single day. What constitutes a network? Simply, it is a collection of nodes, whether they are people, places, or objects, connected by links that represent relationships or interactions. Networks, quintessentially complex systems, operate on a foundation of feedback. Whether that feedback is gleaned from memories, real-time information, or previous interactions, it fuels the dynamic and often unpredictable behaviors within the network. These networks do more than just facilitate interaction. They orchestrate the flow of information and resources across their span, making them powerful influencers of complexity. Social networks, for example, intertwine personal contacts with wider associations, demonstrating complex systems through the competitive and cooperative interactions that occur. Understanding network behaviors extends beyond social theory or technological application. It's a matter of life and death in many scenarios. Consider the biological networks within our bodies, such as the intricate system of veins and arteries that distribute essential nutrients. By mapping and understanding these networks, healthcare practitioners can enhance their approaches to diagnosing and treating various ailments. For instance, a deep comprehension of vascular networks helps in tackling arteriovenous malformations, conditions where misconnections between veins and arteries impede proper blood flow to the brain. Similarly, the study of viral transmission networks is paramount in public health, especially in managing pandemics. Knowing how a virus spreads through human connections allows for more effective containment strategies and preventive measures. This could mean the difference between a localized outbreak and a global pandemic. Hence, the importance of studying networks cannot be overstated. With their ability to model both the flow of information and the transmission of materials, networks provide key insights that are essential not only in preventing disease but also in promoting a deeper understanding of both human and biological dynamics. These insights, in turn, save lives. Whether we're discussing the efficacy of quarantine measures or the spread of information across social media, networks offer a blueprint for understanding and managing the complexity that surrounds us. Part 6. Why complexity science offers a superior lens for understanding financial market dynamics. In the labyrinthine world of financial markets, traders, as individual entities, incessantly strive to forecast price shifts to make informed buying or selling decisions. However, the inherent complexity and constant evolution of these markets often outstrip the predictive powers of traditional models. The standard prediction model prevalent in the finance sector likens market behavior to the simplicity of coin flips, where price movements bear an equal probability of rising or falling. Such a model grossly underestimates the intricate nature of financial markets, leading to predictions that might hold in the short term but eventually falter under the pressure of market anomalies. Financial markets, with their dense networks of traders and rapid information flows, epitomize complex systems. These markets do not lend themselves to simple, probabilistic approaches because they are shaped by myriad interacting factors that produce dynamic, often unpredictable outcomes. One critical flaw in traditional market predictions is their disregard for the high volume of feedback within markets. Every trade, every piece of financial news, and every economic indicator is a piece of feedback that traders absorb and respond to, influencing further market behavior. Introduce a perfect prediction model into this scenario, and it paradoxically becomes imperfect. Traders would use the model's predictions as a basis for their trades, thereby altering the very market dynamics the model seeks to predict. Complexity science tells us that financial markets, like all complex systems, fluctuate between phases of predictability and unpredictability. There are moments when patterns emerge, and the market seems to follow a logical path. Yet, there are also phases where it behaves randomly, making it impossible to predict with any certainty. Hence, relying solely on a universally used prediction model not only fails to account for the market's complexity, but also perpetuates a cycle of unreliable forecasts. The takeaway here is to recognize that financial markets are intrinsically mutable and frequently defy traditional forecasting methods. Embracing complexity. Science offers a more robust framework for understanding and navigating the ever-shifting terrain of financial markets, acknowledging both their structured and chaotic phases. Part 7. Navigating the complexities of dating with insights from complexity science. The quest for the perfect partner is undeniably complex. Not only must this potential mate exist and cross paths with us, but the timing also has to align perfectly, illustrating just how many variables play into the romantic equation. Additionally, considering that we are not the only ones searching for a special someone, dating becomes a competitive endeavor where numerous individuals vie for desirable partners. Dating essentially forms a complex system where individuals act as decision-making agents pursuing a shared goal, a compatible partner. Despite the apparent complexity, science offers a glimmer of hope in this intricate dance of romance. Interestingly, having a long checklist of ideal attributes in a partner does not necessarily make finding true love more difficult. Researchers Richard E. Cobb and David Smith delved into this topic using complexity science. They employed computer simulations to replicate social interactions within networks, assigning each digital persona a specific set of preferences, from musical tastes to culinary likes and dislikes. Their findings revealed a counterintuitive truth. Increasing personal sophistication, or the growing complexity in our preferences, does not correlate with a higher rate of singleness. Even as individual preferences become more specific and discerning, the likelihood of finding a compatible partner remains steady. This outcome underscores a critical insight from complexity science, that personal idiosyncrasies and detailed lists of preferences do not significantly hinder our ability to find a partner. Rather, the vast and interconnected social networks in which we operate are robust enough to accommodate even the most specific of criteria. Therefore, while the search for Mr. or Mrs. Right might seem daunting amid the myriad factors and competition, complexity science reassures us that the odds remain in our favor. No matter how detailed our preferences may be, the potential for finding a compatible mate persists thanks to the dynamic and intricate nature of the social networks that surround us. Part 8. Deciphering the complexity of war through the lens of complexity. Science. War, with all its devastation and chaos, is not just a series of random acts of violence, but a complex system driven by the interactions of multiple groups vying for control over scarce resources, such as territory, or political and economic influence. The nature of war as a complex system becomes profoundly intricate when multiple factions with conflicting goals engage simultaneously, increasing the asymmetry and unpredictability of the conflict. Take, for instance, the conflict in Colombia, which sees the involvement of guerrilla groups, paramilitary units, and national armies, all entangled in a web of shifting allegiances and confrontations. The unpredictable alliances and oppositions among these groups amplify the complexity of the situation, making traditional analyses of war seem inadequate. However, applying the principles of complexity science may offer deeper insights into the underlying patterns of such conflicts. It suggests that despite the apparent chaos, there are emergent patterns common to wars, influenced by the ways groups interact within these complex systems. Recent studies conducted by research teams from the University of London and the University of Bogota in Colombia have begun to apply complexity science methodologies to understand these dynamics better. Their analysis of attack and casualty data from ongoing conflicts, like those in Iraq and Colombia, reveals surprising similarities in the patterns of violence, transcending geographical and ideological differences. Remarkably, the daily attacks in Iraq demonstrated a level of orderly progression unexpected in what many would consider a random war scenario. These findings suggest that the behaviors and outcomes seen in these wars are less influenced by the specific locales or the ideologies fueling them, and more by the universal dynamics of how human groups interact in conflict situations. Understanding these group dynamics through complexity. Science not only clarifies the structure within the chaos, but also brings hope. By identifying and understanding these universal patterns, there is potential for developing strategies that could effectively mitigate, manage, or even resolve conflicts that have long been viewed as intractably complex. This innovative approach could ultimately change the way we perceive and engage with the phenomenon of war, offering paths toward peace that were previously obscured by the fog of conflict. Final summary. Complexity science, though still burgeoning in its development, promises profound implications across a broad spectrum of real-world challenges. With its holistic approach to understanding systems composed of interacting parts, this innovative field extends its relevance far beyond academic circles into the very fabric of daily life. From the pervasive annoyances of traffic jams to the high-stakes unpredictability of financial markets, from the rapid spread of viral pandemics to the intricate dynamics of global conflicts, complexity, science offers a toolkit for dissecting and potentially resolving some of the most pressing issues faced by society today. By embracing the principles of complexity science, we gain not only insights into the emergent behaviors of systems, but also strategies that could lead to more effective interventions and solutions. As we continue to uncover the patterns and rules that govern complex systems, the potential of complexity science to transform our understanding and interaction with the world around us grows ever more significant. This pioneering field stands to not only illuminate but also influence a wide array of disciplines and practices, marking its rise as an essential science of the 21st century. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.